Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show, South Florida's ultimate resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover your future marine forecasts, moon phase, and tide charts. Everything you need to know to help keep you in the bite. Before we get into this, though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, or just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks, so let's get right into this. News of the week. Captain Brock Horner, right? We've all seen the video. I've watched the long form of it. I'm not going to play it because there's just way too much profanity going on in it, and I don't want to get a community note and have the video demonetized regardless. First, let's say the obvious. The captain is lucky the kid didn't have a weapon. If he did, things could have gone south and it could have been a whole mess, right? The way, maybe everybody's got their own point of view. I really think, man, you know, they should have just said what they had to say, somebody have their last word and drive off, and none of this would have ever happened. The guy being a captain, being, according to himself, a professional, he should have really dropped it and left and went along his way. Now, investigations were done. I saw his criminal background, and what's amazing to me is the fact that the Coast Guard would even give this guy a captain's license. That's crazy. I've seen people denied for way less. This guy has multiple DUIs, multiple probation violations going on and everything. It's just insane that the Coast Guard he somehow flew underneath their radar and is able to obtain a captain's license. And they're, like I said, they're fairly strict when it comes to your being in line with the law. So, the future, he's been, got arrested, and now he's going to have to work his way through this. Hopefully, lessons were learned and cooler heads will prevail. So let's move on and talk about fishing, right? That's enough of the whole Brock Horner thing. It will eventually fade into obscurity, just like that captain. And, we've seen similar things with two charters. Last year, the captain flipping his lid over the guy who sort of stepped near the console. Who knows what happened? But hey, all right, let's get into fishing, right? Let's do this. First things first, we're going to talk inshore. We got Pedro and Anna out there slinging it, right? They're getting into the pompano. Pedro looking to get offshore. Says he can't see anything out of his left ear. It's been so long since he's caught a mutton snapper. Here is Anna with some nice pompano. So they're off there. They're hitting the pompano run is in full swing, according to Pedro. So if you're, land-based fishermen, go out there and get them. Get your chicken rig. The sand fleas is the go-to bait for them. Little fish bites, little shrimps, all sorts of stuff like that. But sand fleas are technically what they go after more often than not. So that's our inshore bite brought to you by Pedro and Anna. Now let's hit the reef, right? We've got a update from, this is the Starlight Drift boat out of Pompano Beach. So if you are, you ain't got your own boat, you want to go out on a party boat, they did some nice slaying on, you can see that they're hitting up the yellowtails. I've been telling you it's yellowtail season. So, they're proving you right here. Got a nice mutton snapper in there in the mix. That's what their cooler was looking at. Look at that flag, too. That yellowtail is almost as big as that mutton snapper. So, they're Starlight right out of Pompano, right where Helen S. used to be with Fish City Pride. Got to thank Emily for submitting these to me. Very nice of her. This young man right here with jumbo size mutton snapper, his personal best, I believe. Let's see what it really looks like when he holds it up. There you go. There you go. Look at that. And that's a nice mutton snapper for the kids. So on the drift, yes, here you go. This is right there, right next to Hillsborough Inlet Bridge on the west side of the bridge. You go there, there's all the charter boats, Texas Wireline, and all the other guys. And then there is the party boats. So if you're into that sort of thing, you go on ahead and do it. They're having some good luck over this past weekend. All right. Also, we got James Thompson he went out on a drift boat too, a party boat, obviously a smaller one. And they're, again, the yellowtail. So if you're looking for some reef action, right, folks, the yellowtails are biting, the muttons are biting, the snapper season is firing up. Those muttons are going to start coming in. So, you know, get ready to get them. You know, hopefully our weather will give us a break. Neil Link, palmbeachcharters.net, out of Palm Beach. So if you're looking for a charter boat captain and you're in the Palm Beach area, hit up Neil. He'll take you out there. Look, nice mutton snapper, right? So that's what we're looking for from our charter captains, to keep us happy, big smiles, and you know, keep the customers, you know, give them a great experience and some food to eat. Neil Link, palmbeachcharters.net. Great captain. All right, let's look here. Todd Prince went down to the Bahamas. Yellow eye snappers. Look at that. Some of my favorites. Deep water snappers. Great tasting. Don't eat too much fish so they don't taste like fish, right? So if you're into deep dropping, you know, this is of course, this is the Bahamas, not really South Florida, but hey, just, you know, our neighbors just to the east. So very nice catches. Love some yellow eye snapper. So that's the reef, right? The reef is blowing up with the snappers. Now let's take a look at some offshore stuff. We got Jason Reese, Guggen the Pro Offshore Angler YouTube channel. Got himself some nice, he said he landed on a bunch of peanut dolphin, and he got himself a nice little blackfin right here. So the BFT, going home and getting some sashimi in the, you know, on the plate. Very good. Thank you, Jason, as usual, for keeping us in the loop. And now we're going to head up a little bit north to St. Lucie. And this is Mike Long. This is last week during the middle of the week, Tuesday. Couple of blackfin tuna in the 330, big skipjack 1300, and they headed 27 miles out to 1750 and caught 14 dolphin, and this is one of them. Nice cow right there. That's a solid, you know, definitely had to stick the gaff in that one to get her over the boat, get her over to go, and yeah. And he's got more of some of the tuna that he caught down here too. We had a great day offshore. You see, Mike, you know, finds these good solid tunas too. So he's a pro at it. And when he's not doing the tunas, he's doing the mutton snapper. Look at that. That's a solid skipjack too, right there. So there we have it. Let's see if we got anything else to share. Nope, that's about it, right? So the good thing is, right, is our mahi are gonna start showing up here real soon. You know, if you want to head offshore and look for them, go on ahead. They're out there. They're heading in. They're showing up more often than not. They were in real shallow a couple of weeks ago. Now they're, I don't know. You got to go and find them. I guess, like you just saw, Mike found them way halfway to Bimini. Some people are finding them in shallow. It's not, you just have to get out there and hunt for them and see where they're at. And more than likely, you know, I wouldn't do any blind trolling. I definitely look for, you know, some sort of forms of life, seaweed, floating crap in water, anything. All righty, so that's our fishing report. Got to thank everybody for submissions. Now, so let's talk weather. Time to do some weather, right, folks? See, so today, obviously, we had a cold front just pass through. It's going to cool down a little bit tomorrow, not much. And then I think Friday night into Saturday, we're going to have another one come through. So our wind is going to start turning towards the west, and we're going to get this northeast swell over the next couple of days. So heading out on the boats is going to be, you know, doable. So let's take a look at windy and see what we're looking at. All right. So like I said, here we are today. The rest of the day is a washout. We're going to see scattered storms, maybe, you know, more stormy weather into the rest of the day, but not much. Let's talk tomorrow, 7 a.m. See, our wind is starting to come from the north, and it will swing out from the northwest, right? So we're going to have, you know, elevated wind speeds, but you got that west wind, which will bring in the northeast swell, right? It'll be nice. It'll be rather nice out there, depending upon how big the swell is. So for those of you folks that this is your first time joining the channel, this is Windy. All these websites we're going to use are in the descriptions. Copy, paste, and learn how to use them. Windy is very cool. The wind speed right here, correlates to this color-coded chart down here. So you see the green, we're in between 10 and 20 miles an hour, or knot. This one goes by knots. Again, a knot is 1.1 miles an hour. So, 9 miles an hour, 9 knots is, one and the same. Not too much of a difference. Now, the cool thing about it is if you use Windy on a PC, not on your phone, on a PC, if you click anywhere, it'll tell you the precise measurements that are predicted, right? So tomorrow morning, in between Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale, we're looking at 13 knots from the northwest. The northwest wind brings in your, oops, I did not mean to do that. Stop. Northwest wind brings in your northeast swell. All right, so that's tomorrow morning. We're looking at 13 knots, not too bad. West Coast, they're, on the leeward side of this wind still. So they're probably looking at some chop because of the front that passed Tampa Bay. Looks really fairly flat. The mackerel are starting to come in. Saw some reports of that last week. Very nice. And yet, our the Tri-County area looking fairly nice, close to inshore. And the further offshore you get, the more the wind's going to pick up. So if you're inshore and you're over the reef, they're looking at 8 knots from the northwest. So it's not going to be like glass. There will be a swell, but it's going to form up. All right, tomorrow afternoon, same thing. Winds starting to come from the north down over the Keys. Over the northern Keys, it looks like they got a that dead spot. That's just the afternoon, and wind blowing from the west. So the Keys will also be collecting this north swell, the northeast swell that's coming. And again, remember I told you we're going to get another front over the weekend. So we have to see what happens with that, whether it's going to bring much rain or not. Thursday morning, our wind starts to come back from the northeast, right? So that will push that swell, probably diminish the period in between the waves a little bit, and it'll pick up. And out here, the further north we go, way offshore, you've got elevated winds, 25 plus miles an hour. Inshore, it tends to slows down a little bit. So down in the Keys, they're still getting their wind from the leeward side, so they'll be, capitalizing on that swell. All right, Thursday afternoon, again, elevated winds, 13, 14 miles an hour. Let's see what they're saying, 16 knots from the northeast. So that's going to, tip the that northeast swell. Friday, 6 a.m., winds tend to slow down a little, especially the further north you go. Vero Beach north, up in the Palm Bay and Cocoa. Down here in the Tri-County area, though, we are still looking at, slight double digits offshore, but inshore we're looking in less than 10 knots, 8 knots from the northeast. So we'll see what that's going to say about our waves. Probably looking at, something like, 2 to 4. Friday afternoon, again, we are preparing for the next front to come through. So it looks like down off Miami, way out there over the Bahamas and stuff in, sort of Florida Straits. There's, mixed confusion going on. A lot of stuff going on in the upper atmosphere that's making the wind go in several different directions. So that's what we're looking like. So the Keys might have a pleasant afternoon on Friday. Here comes Saturday. Again, like I said, the next front is going to come through between Friday and Saturday, and it pushes through. So you can see the wind coming again from the northwest, and it will push through. And there you go, more west, so it'll create a swell. So the wind's going to be elevated, but it'll probably lay the seas down and give you that, that northeast swell. Sunday, still northwest winds, so we're definitely looking at a swell going on. Sunday afternoon, the wind starts to head more northerly, and come Monday, it'll probably head back to the northeast, like I just said. There we go. So that's what we're looking at. So there's another front. So we've got a couple of fronts. We're going to have a northeast swell over the next several days. Monday afternoon, the wind looks like it's dying down, definitely into the, less than 10 miles an hour. As you can see down here on the color-coded chart, we're in the aqua colors, and that's what it looks like. And further south you go towards the Keys, looks like it picks up a little bit. Tuesday looking like it's going to be even less windy in the morning. And let's see what happens in the afternoon. Tuesday looks like it kind of picks up a little bit. And so there you have it. All right, so let's go back to tomorrow morning. All right, let's look at our waves and see what our waves are going to do. Now, remember, these are all just forecast models, so things could change as the week goes on. And, like I said, the northeast swell is going to come. So fishing is going to be possible during the rest of the week and into the weekend. So this is tomorrow morning. The northeast swell is starting to form with the passing of this front. And here it comes, right? So as you can see, there's the water push from the front, and we'll see how big it says it's going to get. This is tomorrow afternoon. You're looking at, the swell's coming. So Thursday, there's all of our waves, right? So Thursday is the big push for the swell to come through. So it's going to be rather big out there. When you see this red color, remember, these are 6 foot plus waves, right? So oh Lord, they're saying 11 foot. Jeez. So we've got that swell. So Thursday's probably not going to be laid down, but it starts to peter out as the day wanes on. Heading into Friday, it lays down again. And now this is the swell that you can get out on come Friday, right? We've got a 5 foot swell at 7 seconds. So it's a little large still, but it will calm down as we head into Saturday, right? So here you go. Saturday, we're looking at, more subdued seas, 2 to 3 foot seas, not too bad. The Keys are looking very pleasant come that day because, again, they've got that swell in their favor. The wind is blowing away from the Keys, so it's they're looking pretty out there. Our West Coast always, always not too bad because of the amount of water that there is over there. Couple of feet of water until you're way offshore. As we head more north, the seas pick up. So, just be wary of those guys. Port St. Lucie and north down in the Tri-County area, not too bad Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, looking about the same, 2 to 4, not bad. Sunday, and it picks up a little bit, and but our waves are coming from the north, so just bear that in mind. It'll still be a swell. Waves, you got a confused sea once you get out into the stream. So you've got the swell, right? 3 foot swell at 6 seconds from the north inshore, and once you get out into the stream, your waves are going to start switching directions on it. Come Monday, it peters out a little bit. It looks like we get that north swell again. 3 foot at 6 seconds, not too bad. Monday afternoon, more of a northeasterly, 3 foot at 7 seconds. So the swell kind of redevelops. Tuesday morning, the same thing, about 3 foot at 8 seconds. So starting Saturday, the swell will develop. For the rest of the week, I would say play it safe and probably save it for the weekend heading into early next week. Come Tuesday afternoon, looks even better. Let's just look at Wednesday just to see what will happen. Wednesdays, so as the week wanes on next week, we're looking at the conditions getting even better. And, definitely you look at Everglades National Park, it's down to less than nothing. Offshore in the Keys is, 2 foot less. So we're looking at great conditions come the middle of the week next week. So like I said, starting Saturday, our swell will develop and it will peter out as the week develops. All right, so let's go back to tomorrow. We'll check out some rain, see what's happening. We had a bunch of rain pass today. Might not get too much. It's going to dry out as it comes. So here's the front that just passed, right? This is tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, not much moisture in the sky. Front still hanging out down here. Thursday morning, just some moisture in the sky, not much. And like I said, it's going to start drying out as the weekend comes. Here's Friday, just some moisture, not much, any rain. Here comes that front, right? Hitting us Saturday. Front passes with not much moisture in this, not much anything in the way of storms, maybe a few overnight as it passes. All right, Saturday afternoon, front's way offshore. Sunday morning, again, dry conditions as with the passing of the front. Monday, dry. Tuesday, dry. So, like I said, Saturday, overnight, Friday to Saturday, that front's going to pass. And then you can start looking at planning on your trips on getting out. It won't be too bad Saturday and Sunday, but as the week wanes on, if you've got that availability and the ability to get out during the week, I'd say save it for, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, see what happens. Possibly Thursday, even going to be even calmer. And that's what we're looking at for our weather. So let's go on ahead and look at WindFinder and see what they're going to say. This is just the numeric version of what we just looked at. Okay, so here we are, Wednesday, right? Winds from the northwest shifting to the northeast, staying steady right in the low double digits, not dipping very much, not very gusty at all. We've got the northeast swell developing 2+ feet and picking up as the day goes on. Thursday is that day where we saw the larger swell develop, right? And then it'll peter out as Friday wanes on. So here we've got, not very gusty, variable winds, again, starting out from the northwest and then shifting to the northeast. Friday, the same thing. And then it starts picking up, heads southeast. It's all over the place, as you can see on Friday. That's what will settle that swell down a little bit. So your swell is going to pick up to over 5 feet, 9 seconds, right? Not much of the way of rain of anything either of those days. Heading into Saturday. Saturday, we've got that west wind because the front is going to push through Friday to Saturday night. Not much moisture, and we've got this swell, again, 2 feet at 7 seconds. So like I said, you can get out. It's going to be windy, blowing windy from the west, right? Low double digits, singles, not very bad. Not very gusty either until the night comes. Sunday, again, it picks up as the morning heats up the water. The waves, again, not very bad. 2 to 3 foot, 6 second period. Heading into Monday and Tuesday, this is where we were seeing that the weather is going to get better. Tuesday into Wednesday, as you can see, Wednesday you've got 2 foot waves at 7 second period, and with low wind speeds. So Monday, mid single digits into the low double digits as the day progresses. Wind from the east, same thing. Heading Tuesday, wind shifts to the southeast. And we've got that northeast swell still hanging out. 2 to 3 foot seas, 6 second, 7 second period, 8 second period come the afternoon on Tuesday. And then Wednesday is looking like the best of the best for that weather pattern. So that's what we're looking at. All right, let's take a look at what NOAA says. And NOAA's probably going to be all over the place on this one because of the wide area that they cover. The NOAA report that I happen to look at covers from Jupiter down to Deerfield Beach. Very, very large area. So let's see. Tomorrow, same northwest winds, 10 to 15, seas 3 to 5 feet. Exactly. This is not going to be even worth paying attention to because it's too broad. The area that we see is from Jupiter down to Deerfield Beach is 35 plus miles, and it's just going to be all over the place. What they are saying, however, is Saturday through Sunday northeast 2 to 4 feet. Yeah, that was foolishness to even bother looking at today. Just watch the WindFinder, windy, and of course use your beach cams, your inlet cams, make sure that the conditions aren't too crazy and that you can, make it out there safely if you're looking to do it. So let's go on ahead and check out our moon phase, see if that's going to be on our side. If anybody is into fishing the moon phase, I do it for wahoo, right? So today we are at 83% waxing. So if you're not familiar with terms when it comes to moon phases, right? Waxing is heading towards the full moon. Waning is heading away from the full moon towards the new moon, the dark side. So we're still waxing. So by the weekend, we will be at a full moon. So this is today. Here we are, Tuesday, 83%. Wednesday, 90%. Thursday, 95%. Friday, 98%. Saturday, 100%, right? So heading into next week, we'll be a few days past that full moon. Some, time to get out and, if you're willing to go for that, the wahoo, the scattered wahoo that are there, it'll be that day. Go out there and give it a shot. The mackerel bite follows, the moon phase. The kingfish do it too. The one thing that the moon phase doesn't work for is bait fishing at night, right? Goggle eyes don't really bite when there's full moon. They like the cover of darkness. Same thing with your pelagic fish, right? The bite might slow down come this weekend into early next week because the water will be illuminated fully at night. As you can see, we're hanging out with a full moon for one day into the next, right? That's going to light up the water. The bait fish are going to be seen. Your pilchards, your thread fins, the goggle eyes, the blue runners, all of those fish are going to be able to be seen. So what they do is they disperse and they scatter over the reef, but they're still able to be seen by the predators, and the predators are eating all night. So they might be a little full come daytime. So just bear that in mind with your full moon. I tend to say, hey, predators tend to eat better with the, as the moon illuminates the sky just a little less. All right. Now let's move on to our tide charts and see what they're going to do for us. Again, tide charts are all about water flow, and they make sense when we're talking about fishing jetties, right? Fishing the inlets, especially if you are a land-based fisherman. So we say this every week, and we're going to say it till we're blue in the face and everyone gets it. If you are fishing the inlets and the jetties, especially you land-based guys, you're fishing there. You have to fish the outgoing tide when the tide is falling. If you are fishing when the tide is coming in, you are going to catch nothing. You will catch rocks. Maybe catch a buzz. I didn't say that out loud. Anyway, yes, fish the outgoing tide, especially at anything. If you're trolling past it, looking for the trolling bite. If you're drifting, looking for the mutton bite. You're welcome. Not my pleasure. If you're drifting, jigging, doing anything in front of these inlets, the tide has to be going out. What the concept is that works when the tide's going out is it pushes water out. It pushes all the sediment, the microorganisms, the phytoplankton, the what's the word I'm looking for? The chlorophyll, right? Where the green meets the blue. Pushes all that out. That's where your fish hide, especially high concentrations of chlorophyll. That's where the mackerel tend to congregate because of all the bait fish that go there and eat, right? So the tide going out pushes all that crud out. Little bait fish come in and eat all that stuff, and then the bigger fish come in and eat that. That is the cycle of life when it comes to tides. If your tide's coming in, it's sucking all that water in, and there's nothing there for the fish to eat. So the bite turns off, right? So again, and then again, your tide chart also reflects what the time of day you're fishing, right? So as we can see here, let's look at tomorrow. Tomorrow, as the sun is rising, the tide is starting to fall. So that's a good time to get out early in the morning. If you're a land-based guy, man, hit up in the morning. Also, as the sun is going down, the tide is starting to fall. So these are two opportune times tomorrow. And then as the week wanes on, Thursday into Friday into Saturday, you can see we're at the end of the rising tide as the sun is coming up, which is, going to mean we're at a slack tide come, mid-morning. The tide will start pulling into Saturday and Sunday. Okay. So, just bear that in mind if you're fishing that. So let's say you head out Saturday, you're not going to want to do the first thing passing by those inlets. And if you're a land-based guy, just stay away. It's not going to happen until later in the morning. All right, so that's how the tides work, and that's what we're going with. We're sticking with that story, right, folks? All right, that about does it for that. All right, so before we sign off, folks, I just want to invite you, if you're in the market for some fishing apparel, those cool UPF 50s fishing shirts, go ahead, check out our sponsor, WindRider. The link is in the description of the video, and these are solid shirts. I own several of them. They got the South Florida Saltwater Fishing logo on them. You can get it on the front, on the back. You can get them with hoodies, with gaiters, with everything. These are the sun protective shirts, right? They're UPF 50 shirts. You don't need sunscreen with them. They will protect you. They also dry very quickly if you get them wet. They're stain resistant. You can get them soaked with blood. Make sure you put some spray and wash on them. They'll come out looking brand new. Also, they keep you cool in the summer. They keep you warm in the winter. There's some nice stuff. You can get like a shirt like this here. The ones without the hoodies, you have the choice. You can get the logo, the South Florida Saltwater Fishing brand logo. You can get it on the front, you can get it on the back. So if you're in the market for one of these types of shirts and you've been wanting one lately, hey, give it a look. This is not a fly-by-night company, not at all. They've been around for a long time. They have several different items. I just promote my stuff, which is the South Florida Saltwater Fishing brand. You look at the price of these shirts, no matter what you look at, no matter what company, if you're looking at Hook, Pelagic, you're any other local bait and tackle shop, they're all going to be around this price. So don't get sticker shock when you look at it and go, damn, I'm not paying that for a shirt. If you ever really want to get one of these shirts, which they are highly effective, they eliminate sunscreen. You're going to drop a couple of bucks, but they're well worth the money. All right, so that's that. Selfish, what do we say? Shameless self-promotion. Thanks. All right, before we head out, folks, if you are on Facebook, let me ask you to join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. What happened? I don't even know what happened. Hold on. There we are. There we go. Wait a minute. That's not what I want. Join computers, right? That's the computer whiz that I am. Join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report, right, folks? Go there. It's a private group. The page looks like this, minus the date. All right, you go there. You ask to join. It's right up here. You just can't see it because of the blue mark. I am the administrator for it. It'll send me a note saying, hey, so-and-so asked to join the group. It's simple. What's your favorite? It's going to ask you two questions. What's your favorite fish, and do you want to follow the rules? The fish is up to you. And following the rules is simple, man. Nobody, don't be crazy and out of line. No YouTube videos, no loitering, no selling crap. There's some guy who I've had to kick out a bunch of times trying to say, hey, anybody want their boat detailed? Man, come on. No, we don't do that. Show your fish. Every Monday we set up I'm talking about myself in the third person. I make a post that says, hey, it's Monday, show us your catches, right? If you post anything on the page, it's guaranteed to be showcased on the live stream come Tuesday night, right? And you also have the chance of being the poster child, which will end up on the thumbnail for the live stream that happens 6 o'clock most Tuesday nights. Sometimes I don't make it. I got, a life outside of all this goodness, but I try my darndest. Anyway, join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report on Facebook if you are there and you got it. It's lots of intel sometimes that you can pick up that, nobody else fishermen might not tell you. Some fishermen are super secretive. Me, I'm not. I tell all my secrets. I don't have very many spots. If you're looking to get spots from me, I do mostly trolling. I get some deep trapping, some jigging. And my jigging, I'm just all over the place, always trying to find something. And if I'm drifting for like mutton snappers or locked up trying to catch yellowtail, that stuff's in all the videos that I've already put out. So go check them out and you can find that stuff. It's all local wrecks and stuff that everybody knows about. All right, folks. Join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report on Facebook. All right, so we're gonna kill this one. Had fun. The fishing's we're getting ready to head into mahi season, so get ready for that bite, and everybody's gonna get out there and have a ton of fun this summer, right? All right, so hopefully the weather. Hey, thanks for showing up. All right, hopefully the weather starting this weekend, right? That swell is going to come in. We can get out there and put a pounding on them, wet some lines, and get some meat on the deck. All right, folks, till next Tuesday, right? South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.